We're reading the Beis HaLevi on Bitachon. 1. Bitachon is an obligation. The Beis HaLevi opens his discussion of Bitachon, reliance on Hashem, with a statement about the obligation to have Bitachon and the consequences of not having it. The obligation of Bitachon in many pasukim, too many to count. 1. Many people mistakenly think that Bitachon, relying on Hashem, is just an advisable way of life that the Torah encourages us to have. The Beis HaLevi begins by stressing that Bitachon is much more than an opinion, enabling us to calm our fears and live a happy life, tranquil life. It is an outright Torah obligation incumbent on every Jew at all times. Just as the Torah commands us to keep Shabbos, to keep kosher, and to give charity, it also commands us to have bitachon, to believe that everything is controlled by Hashem, and therefore that we must place our full trust in Hashem. The Chovos HaLevavos discusses various reasons why many people do not have bitachon, one of which, he writes, is simply ignorance. People do not properly understand that Bitachon is an obligation, and that Hashem himself has commanded us to trust in him. 2. It was so clear and obvious to the Beis HaLevi that the Torah requires us to have Bitachon that he did not find it necessary to cite any of the sources. What then is the source of this great mitzvah? The Rishonim and Achronim offer various sources. And if one lacks bitachon, it is regarded as a great sin. Rabbeinu Yonah writes that one who does not have bitachon transgresses the negative commandment. When you go out to battle against your enemy, and you see a horse and chariot, people more numerous than you, you shall not fear them, for Hashem your God is with you. Additionally, later in the essay of the Beis HaLevi writes that a lack of bitachon is a result of forgetting Hashem. This is a negative commandment, for the Torah warns, beware for yourself not to forget Hashem. A. Bitachon is not an ordinary mitzvah. Not only is bitachon a mitzvah in of itself, it actually the most essential of the 613. The Gemara in Makos 34a states that the prophet Habakkuk came forth and established them, the 613 mitzvos, upon one, as it says, a righteous man lives with emunah. The Vilna Gaon writes that this concept of living with emunah is referring to bitachon. B. I don't give you the option. We might suggest an analogy to a young and unexperienced doctor who has just received his first job, to work in a hospital. On the first day, the medical director approaches him and says, if you are ever unsure about something, make sure you call one of the more experienced doctors for assistance. Several days later, the new doctor is treating a critically ill patient. Although he knows that he should call for help, he feels uncomfortable about doing so, and therefore begins to operate on the patient himself. Unfortunately, the operation is unsuccessful and the patient does not survive. Moments later, the medical director irately asks him, What were you thinking? Don't you remember what I told you? The doctor sheepishly replies, I did remember, however, I was uncomfortable asking anybody for help. The doctor shouts, I did not give you the option to ask for help. I told you that you must ask for help. The same is true of Hashem. Not only does he want us to rely on him, he commands us to do so. Therefore, one does not have bitachon. Not only is he losing a great opportunity for growth, he is actually committing a great sin. Thank you. We'll continue tomorrow.